hi everyone, just making a very quick video on how to sharpen the ceramic blade on my folding pocket knives that I sell on Airgun BBS. A lot of people have asked how to sharpen these, as they're different to a carbon steel or a stainless steel blade. It's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward. You need a kit like a Lansky kit. There are other ways of doing it that you'll see on YouTube if you search for them. This I think is probably the best way. It gives you the most consistent edge. It gives you a really good finish and a sharp straight edge. Okay, so first off, you need a couple of things. Some needle nose pliers to take the knife apart. So we'll just undo the hinge, bolt. It's got a couple of nylon washers on either side, so make sure you keep those. So that's the first one. Second one just drops out. Oops, I'll just throw that over there. Second one, and then you're just left with the frame and the white ceramic blade. So this knife is the same one I've had since November 2011. It's now September 2012. I've been using it quite a lot. I've gutted and skinned probably close on 300-400 rabbits with this. It's worked brilliantly on the deer as well. The knife that it's replacing is this, which is a Remington stainless steel. It's ATS 34 stainless steel, which is really good. Holds quite a good edge. It's a really nice shaped blade to work with. It's nice and thick. It's a strong stainless blade, but the trouble is that I was finding you get to the end of skinning a deer and the blade would go quite dull. Not blunt, but dull, so it was making it quite hard to work with. So I thought I would try the ceramic blade that I've got. Worked really well on rabbits. You know, you'd be gutting a pile of rabbits after a good night's lamping, and you get to sort of 20-25 rabbits, and the stainless steel blade would get quite blunt, and you just end up pulling off or shaving piles of rabbits. So you'd end up with just a mound of fur and some quite messily gutted rabbits. So okay, so on to sharpening very quickly with the Lansky kit. I've got the deluxe kit with 5 hones, going from 70 grit, very extra coarse hone, which is great for shaping blades, down to 280 grit, 600 grit, which is this one, and 1000 grit ceramic hone, which is very fine and gives a very good high polish finish to the cutting edge of the blade. Incidentally, I think it's probably the same material that it's made out of. May not be, but they're both very hard ceramic material, and this doesn't take off a lot of the blade at all, but it does polish it up really well. So once you've got a very fine edge honed with the 600 grit stone, you can then spend a bit longer just polishing that edge and really bringing the cutting performance up. A lot of people have asked me about using a knife steel or sandpaper or other things, and there are methods of doing that on YouTube. Don't use a knife steel on these. You know, the standard sort of knife steel that you get with your kitchen knife block set, which is effectively just a rod that's serrated, and you drag the blade across it, and those serrations on a steel knife will cause a burr on one side of the blade that you can then start moving around and get a nice fine cutting edge. If you use a knife steel on these ceramic blades, what will actually happen is you'll chip very small amounts of the cutting edge away on both sides, and you'll end up with a dull and very dull or blunt blade with extra small serrations in it, and that's next to useless. So what you need is a good diamond or ceramic stone sharpening set. Lansky's good. I'm sure there are others. I think DMT do lots of sharpening kits as well, but this one works well for me. A good tip with these blades is to get a marker pen, so similar to Engineer's Blue or laying out fluid. Just mark, try not to draw over too much of the blade, just mark the cutting edge on both sides, and that way, if you're not sure what angle to sharpen it at, it's best to stick with what you've already got on the blade. If you're not sure if you're not sure which angle to sharpen it at, you can put the hone in the holder, let's say 25 degrees on this one, give it a few strokes, see how much material it's moved. So in this case it's not taken any material away from the cutting edge, but it's taken some away from the back of the cutting edge. So let's try 30 degrees instead. See, that's much better. That's evenly removing material from all of the cutting edge there, not just the front or the back of the cutting edge of the blade. So in this case I've got a 30 degree edge on this blade, which is what I put on there the last time I sharpened it. It took quite a while to do, but I think that's why it's probably stayed sharp for so long, because 30 degree edge is quite an obtuse cutting edge. It's more used for sort of heavy duty cutting things like axes or cleavers. 25 degrees is a good all-purpose cutting edge angle. 20 degrees and 17 degrees are getting quite fine. 17 degrees, according to the Lansky leaflet, is for sharpening razor blades and that sort of thing. So if you do use that, you'll get very, very fine, very, very sharp cutting edge, but don't be surprised if it chips easily. Going on to chips and breakages with these blades, people have voiced a bit of concern over their durability. I've had this one, as I say, since November last year, so 10 months now. I've used it and abused it. There have been a few chips taken out of the cutting edge. I've used it for what it's designed for, which is cutting and slicing rather than chopping and trying to pry things apart. And to be honest, I've not noticed any great problem with it at all. I've not damaged the cutting edge particularly. I've not snapped the tip off. I've not had any problems with it. It's actually quite a strong blade, so they're not as brittle as people think. The upsides in terms of the durability is the hardness. So once you've put an edge on it, it will retain that edge for a very long time. If you use it day in, day out on various things like cutting rope, carpet, skinning rabbits, that kind of thing, if you're using it say 5 days out of 7, you probably end up having to sharpen it every month. If you use the knife a bit more sparingly like I do. Over the last year I've not had that much time to go out shooting, so I've been out twice a week if I'm lucky. Earlier in the year got lots of rabbits, a few deer, so I've used it quite a lot, but I've not sharpened it since March, so you'll get quite a decent return on the time you spend sharpening it. So that takes us to the downside, which is that when you do sharpen it eventually, it will take a bit longer. So make sure you don't rush, make sure you set aside probably an hour to an hour and a half, and just take your time. The main things that you'll find that will go wrong when you're sharpening these knives, especially with the Lansky kit, you need to make sure that you keep the hone on the cutting edge. You don't let it slip off. If you do that, what will happen is as you press down and the hone slips off, you'll chip away at the cutting edge. So all that work that you've just done to get a sharp edge, you'll remove and you'll knock that off. So make sure that you keep the hone at all times in between the grinding edges. Go over it with the coarse hones first. Get rid of the chips and the nicks in the blade, and then go through the finer grades of stone as you would with any other knife. When you're going towards the tip of the blade, make sure you don't press down too hard, and make sure you support the tip. It's very easy to damage even a carbon steel or a stainless steel blade by not taking care when you're sharpening the tip. I've done that several times. So just make sure that you're careful when you're doing that. Don't need to treat it like it's going to snap in half the first time you look at it, but just be sensible with it. And once you have finally got a good edge on it, just be careful in the way that you're sharpening it. I've seen people using these that are just going absolutely mad trying to get an edge on the blade quickly. You'll end up damaging yourself or the knife. So just take your time and be sensible. Make sure you've set enough time aside. As I say, it will take probably an hour to an hour and a half, which is going to be more than some people want to spend on sharpening a knife. But as I've said, the upside to that is that you won't need to do it for a very long time. So any questions, send them through. These are the knives as featured on Airgun BBS on the new items section. And the username that I sell them under is Streblo. Thanks for watching.